Welcome back. Let's continue building this app. So basically what we can do is we can go extra step here. To make this as unsigned one, right? So basically unsigned one will stop negative values. Alright. So what we can do extra? We can explicitly mention this as a foreign one. So table.foreign user ID. So user ID, this step is not needed exactly, so not needed, but you can do this one. Alright, so to make this references dot references, so which one we need to refer, which is an ID one, in which table, in table users. So in users table we need to refer ID as our foreign key for this field, right? So this user ID is a foreign field, right? Foreign key field. This step is not exactly needed, right? So don't be, what to say, if you don't want to do this, just don't do this. It is a good practice to do, but it is not that much needed. So what it will do is it will create a foreign key kind of a thing in our field. So this user ID will not give a foreign key identity in our table, but only inside the application we have that kind of what to say, relationship. This mentioning this as explicit foreign key will create a foreign key kind of thing inside our data tables field, right? So doing this is not needed exactly, but I like to do that. Okay, so just be curious about it. So we'll create a string which is going to be the title. So title field, and we finally need table.string URL. That's it. This is what we need. So we should have user ID, title, and URL, and the timestamps are a little bit different. You might already know that, right? So again, it created it and updated it thing in our tables. Right now we are ready to migrate our application. So let's migrate our application here. Alright, so Adonis migration run. Cool, our database is migrated. If we go ahead and check here, so click this news here, we have news table. If we go ahead and refresh this, we have user ID field, title field, and URL field. So if we click the structure here, now we can see this is a foreign key index. Alright, so this key symbol only comes when you do this this dot foreign references. If you do this here, it won't do, but you don't need to care about that, because doing this and having the relationships rightly set up inside user and news table will have exactly the foreign key kind of a behavior for you. So again, it won't explicitly help for you. Alright, that's it. That's how the relationship work. So now we can start creating our application. So basically we'll render everything here, all the news here, and we'll start building our app. Alright, so for here what we can do is, now we need to think of how we can design this one, right? So we need to think of how we can show all the news here. We need to show the newses, and we need to show when it was created, and we have a lot of things in our mind. So for that we'll start with creating the submit form, so that it will help us to get started with creating new news. Alright, so let's go to /submit here. So exactly, if we need to go to nav.edge, so in nav.edge, we'll just delete this here. So in submit, we'll go to /submit. It should go when we are logged in. Alright, so for that we need middlewares. So we'll learn about the middlewares here. So let's go to routes.js and we'll start creating our app. Cool. One thing, if you have already seen this, if you click logout here, we are already logged out, right? So if you go to home, it should go to home and it should say undefined. This is where our middleware should come. Alright, so how we can do that? We can create middlewares using Adonis make middleware, and name of our middleware should be auth for now. You can say whatever you want, but I like to name this as auth. We are going to create middlewares for HTTP requests, so just doing that will do. So after that, we need to go to kernel.js and we need to register app middleware here like this. So we need to go to kernel.js. If you see, this has global middleware. So if you do this here, it will affect all the URLs without explicitly mentioning, but we can have the named middlewares. So here we can mention that our auth app should be auth. So basically, this we can use this auth, but that is not that much helping. So we have a lot of problems with that. So we need to extend that. But we instead of extending this, using our own will help you to learn about middleware's in the best way. So app middleware and auth. This is how you should register a middleware in our application. So both are same names, so it will hurt, right? So we don't need to do that. So what we can do is we can say authenticated. Alright, we'll name this as authenticated. Cool. That's all we need here. We can close this here. So we just need to go to authenticated here. So if we go ahead in authentication, if we go ahead in let's say in routes, we need to check the controller here. Before controller, we need to check our middlewares here, right? So I'm just blabbering, sorry about that. So we need to check our middlewares here. So we need to go to auth.js. So in this auth.js, we have two different things in our application. So we have try and catch block. Alright, so try, what we can do is await auth dot. Alright, so we can say auth dot user. So if it is successful, we can go to next step. If it is not, we just need to redirect the user again. So with the session message, we can do that, right? So session dot flash error message, right? So we have an error message which is going to say you are not logged in, and we can go to return response dot redirect to a login page. So making user going to the login page makes more sense here. So we can change this response here, and we can use auth here, and we can use session here. So await next will move that to the next step. That's the logic of it. Since the error is we already wrote the error logic here. If we go ahead and check in notifications, we have success, and for error, just copy everything here and make this as error. Alright, so you just need to change this danger, so make sure that to change there to danger. Alright, so that's it all about this. So inside middleware, just make sure that we have our try and not lock. So what it will do is it will check for the user is uh, present or not. If it is available, it will move for the next step, but if it is not, it will catch for error and it'll say we are not logged in. So now we can check this up. So if I hit refresh here, in fact nothing will happen because we didn't say we need to use this middleware in here, right? So remember we just said when we are in kernel.js that we said authenticated, right? So inside kernel.js we said that authenticated, right? So in route.js in home, what we can do is we can pass this as a middleware. So if middleware, you don't need to pass this as a exactly, so we can say authenticated. Alright, so what it will do is it will check for the middleware of authenticated. It go for authenticated middleware and check what is really happening in there. Alright, so just be curious. Just oops, if I hit refresh here, you are not logged in, we are pushed back. Cool, it just says you are not logged in, which means we have successfully set up our middleware. So make sure that we have different kind of things. So inside of middleware, we just say we have to check for a user, and after that we need to check for a catch block. So if the get user means check for whether the user is authenticated or not. If it is authenticated, it will move for the next step, but if it is not authenticated, it will move for the next step of a catch block, which is going to say you are not logged in and pushing us to the login page. Cool, that's the exact logic of it. So feel free to check it out and go to relationships, go to AdonisJs.com documentation and look inside middlewares to get more reviews on that. Alright, I'll take a quick pause here, and in our next video we'll change different things here. We can check again with middlewares, and we'll change some of our routes into, and we'll make our routes to use route group, and I'll talk about what is the use of route groups in our next video. Alright, I'll see you in the next.